Molten glass flows through red-hot furnaces at Encirc's factory in northwest England. But behind the heat and noise, there is growing pressure. Encirc, which makes more than a third of the UK's glass bottles, says energy costs are hitting hard. Industrial electricity prices in Britain are among the highest in Europe. Company officials say they are paying between 50 and 100% more for energy than competitors in Europe.
So we have two major issues in the UK. Firstly, energy in the UK is between 50 and 100% more expensive for an energy-intensive manufacturer than our closest European allies. So that's issue number one. Issue number two is Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland is a global outlier in its energy prices. Northern Ireland then pays we're paying an extra 50% more in our NI plant than we are in the rest of the GB. So these two major competing issues where we need to find energy competitiveness in the UK.
In Northern Ireland, costs are even higher, around 50% more than the rest of the UK. Industry leaders warn that high prices are making it harder to compete. They say cheaper glass imports from countries like Turkey and China are increasing.
One of the concerns is cheap imports to bypass the high energy costs in the UK. So for example, we're seeing more glass being dumped or sent to the UK from Turkey and China, for example. So those countries can use cheap gas. In the sake of Turkey, they use Russian gas. They can produce it very cheaply. They have huge government subsidies. Then they can send that glass to the UK to bypass the cost of energy, as well as bypass other packaging costs in the UK, like the new packaging tax that has been brought in for glass that's very, very expensive. So our concern for glass is at the moment, what we want is a proactive government working with industry to produce more things for the UK economy. What we don't want is an deindustrialisation climate, which we currently have.
These countries benefit from lower gas prices and government subsidies. The UK government says it is offering support through compensation schemes and bigger discounts on electricity network charges. But manufacturers argue it is not enough. They are calling for stronger protections to prevent what they describe as a risk of deindustrialization.
So our call to action is look at the policies that are out there. There's one right now, the indirect energy compensation scheme in Europe, that the UK could just mirror, and that would help us so much. Our call to the Northern Ireland Assembly is then to look at the rest of the UK, look at GB to see what they're doing, because in Northern Ireland, again, we're paying another 50% more energy cost than the rest of the UK.
Experts say high prices are partly due to Britain's reliance on natural gas, especially after global gas prices surged in 2022. Despite the challenges, Encirc says it is pushing ahead with plans to reduce carbon emissions by 80% by the end of the decade.